I found myself alone in the quiet of my home when suddenly, an unexpected visitor stepped into my life. The last time I saw him, he was just stepping into adulthood, still carrying the innocence of youth. He was slender and clumsy, forever trapped in a world of pixels or caught in a silent battle with his mother. Once, he was merely her son, someone who lingered just out of reach, a fleeting presence in my life, only acknowledged through the soft murmur of polite greetings exchanged over steaming cups of coffee. But this time, when I opened the door to my friend's house and saw him standing there, taller, broader, his presence heavier, more deliberate, a spark ignited within me, stirring emotions I knew I shouldn't feel. It wasn't just his face, though time had etched its story there, defining the angles of his jaw and softening the depths of his gaze. His gaze held a secret, a spark that ignited something deep within me. It felt like he saw me for the first time, not just as a friend of his mother's, but as someone who mattered, someone he couldn't ignore any longer. His smile caught me off guard, and I found myself responding without thinking, even as a strange tension coiled in my chest, something I couldn't quite understand. My friend greeted me with her usual light chatter, but my mind wandered to the unspoken tension between us. My heart raced as he leaned against the kitchen counter, the way his forearm muscles tensed when he reached for a glass, sending a thrill through me. His voice, low and dry, wrapped around me like a secret we both knew we shouldn't share. He barely uttered a word that evening, avoiding my gaze. Each time I looked up, his gaze remained fixed on me, not gazing, simply observing. It felt as if he was uncovering secrets within me that I never knew I was revealing. The dinner felt intimate, a dance of shared laughter and lingering glances, where the weight of unspoken words hovered in the air, teasing the boundaries of what could be. He remained mostly silent, offering only smirks or half-hearted laughs that cut a little too deep. I felt the tension in the air, a secret that lingered just out of reach, unnoticed by my friend but heavy on my heart. I saw it all. The room pulsed with an intensity that made it feel almost alive. I nervously fiddled with the neckline of my blouse, feeling the soft fabric brush against my collarbone. A reminder of the tension in the air, I slipped away to the bathroom, desperate for a moment to cool the heat rising in my veins. I gazed into the mirror, a stranger staring back, concealing the truth I dared not reveal. As I walked back in, they were savoring the last bites of dessert, and he rose, his hands brushing against the plates, a fleeting moment of connection lingering in the air. His hand closed around mine just as I was about to grasp it, our fingers barely grazing, sending a spark of something unspoken between us. Just a whisper. It was just enough to make me lose track of everything I thought I knew. After our coffee, I rose to go, my heart heavy with unspoken words. My friend mentioned some weekend plans, something light and easy, but my heart whispered of something more, something we shouldn't explore. I nodded, wrapping my arms around them in a fleeting embrace. Just as I approached the door, he slipped in behind me, his hand brushing against mine as he opened it before I could even reach for the handle. "Drive carefully," he whispered, his breath warm against my neck, sending shivers down my spine. I turned slightly, my heart racing as I searched his face for any hint of mockery, for a trace of playfulness, but he wasn't smiling. His gaze held a mystery, a cool detachment that sent shivers down her spine. Then he added, "It's a pity you're just around the corner. It deepens the ache of longing." And with that, he stepped back, leaving the door ajar, his gaze drifting away, as if the moment had slipped through his fingers. My hands trembled against the steering wheel in the car, a surge of forbidden emotions swirling within me. I attempted to persuade myself that it was insignificant, merely a young man daring to venture beyond boundaries. That night, as I stood alone in the bathroom, I caught a glimpse of my body that stirred something deep within me. I did not feel a sense of urgency or longing. It was a kind of attention that stirred something deep within me, a feeling I thought I had lost forever. I traced my fingers along my collarbone, recalling the way his gaze had lingered there just moments before. I paused at the drawer, my hand brushing over fabric I hadn't considered in ages, reminded of a version of myself I thought I'd buried. A longing awakened within me, not a memory, but a whisper of longing, a heartbeat away from what could be. My husband lay in bed, drifting in and out of sleep, absorbed in the glow of his tablet. With a fleeting smile on his lips, he glanced up before returning his gaze to the screen, a world apart from their shared world. I lay beside him, breathless, caught in a moment that felt both electric and wrong. He remained oblivious, or perhaps he knew all along and simply decided to remain silent. That was how we found ourselves lately. Soft glances and unspoken words lingered in the air, a delicate dance around the feelings we dared not acknowledge. In the shadows, I relived that fleeting moment at the door. His voice whispered softly, sending shivers down my spine. There was a lingering silence before he spoke. I felt his presence before I saw him, a whisper of something I shouldn't want. I felt it deep within me. Our paths were destined to cross once more. And deep down, despite my efforts to deny it, I craved it more than anything else I had felt in weeks. As I lay there, turning away from my husband, I felt a rush of conflicting emotions as I shifted uncomfortably. My body caught between hesitation and something unspoken. It was something deeper, a pull that felt both thrilling and wrong. It lingered like a secret, a bittersweet reminder of stolen glances and unspoken desires. And that, I realize now, was the piece of my heart I had longed for in silence. Our paths crossed again, and my heart raced with a mix of longing and fear. That thought clung to me, haunting the still moments of my days, in the quiet moments of daily life. As I fold laundry, prepare dinner, or even brush my teeth, I feel the weight of a secret longing, a connection that simmers just beneath the surface. Even with him standing right there beside me, I never wanted to entertain such a thought. It pulsed with an electric tension, a whisper of something unspoken. It's like the quiet ache of a secret longing, barely audible yet impossible to ignore. Yet, in its subtle cruelty, life appears to know when a change stirs deep within you. It was a Tuesday, a day like any other, yet something in the air felt different. Electric with unspoken words and stolen glances, it lingers in my mind. That fateful laundry day, I stepped out of the house, my attire a hasty choice, yet it felt like a secret waiting to unfold. A soft cotton dress, whispering secrets of longing and unspoken desires. The beauty was raw and unguarded. The loose gathering of her hair created a fleeting moment of beauty that lingered just out of reach. I found myself at my friend's door, the weight of a simple baking dish in my hands, but my heart raced with unspoken feelings. I never intended to linger. I hesitated, my heart racing, before I finally pushed the door open without a sound. I slipped in through the back door, just like I always did, heart racing with the thrill of the moment. Her departure left an ache in the silence. The house remained silent. Its breath held. My heart raced as I lingered in the hallway, dish clutched tightly, yearning to place it on the counter and vanish into the shadows. Unseen. Yet, he was right there. I didn't notice him there. He emerged unexpectedly at the kitchen's edge, bare feet whispering against the floor, cradling a coffee mug, his eyes still heavy with sleep. "Hey," he murmured, his voice husky from sleep. "I didn't even notice you were here." He entered the kitchen, his back pressed against the counter, a silent tension hanging in the air. His t-shirt clung to him in a way that made it impossible to look away. He appeared disheveled, as if he had just rolled out of bed, unprepared for anyone to see him. In that fleeting moment, I felt a rush of vulnerability wash over me, as if the world around us had paused, leaving me exposed and yearning. Bound by vows, yet drawn to him like a moth to a flame. I stand here, a living contradiction, cradling a dish that feels like a mask for my heart's secret longing. "Do you want to share a cup of coffee with me?" He whispered the question, a spark of longing in his eyes. I knew I should have turned away. Every part of me felt it deeply. Yet, I found myself nodding. He moved slowly, a quiet storm brewing beneath his calm exterior. I lingered at the kitchen's edge, arms crossed, feigning indifference to the way he hovered so near while pouring. He handed me the cup, our fingers grazing once more, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and wrong. This time, the touch lingered, charged with unspoken longing. It hung in the air, heavy with unspoken words. We stood, hearts racing, caught in a moment that felt both thrilling and wrong. We stood there, hearts racing, caught in the silence of that kitchen that held so many secrets. I took a slow sip of the coffee, feeling the warmth seep into my soul. It was intense, aching. I couldn't help but feel drawn in. He looked at me with a mix of surprise and something deeper, his gaze lingering longer than it should have. I never intended to linger. "Were you always this unpredictable?" I arched an eyebrow, curiosity mixed with a deeper emotion stirring within me. "Is it always this easy for you to wander around like this, with your feelings so exposed?" His smile was a secret, a fleeting moment that ignited something deep within. It all hinges on the eyes that linger. That silence, heavy and charged, not forbidden, something deeper. His eyes traced a path from my face to my collarbone, lingering just a moment longer below. The air thickened around us, heavy with unspoken words. "I really should leave," I whispered. Yet, I stayed still. He placed his mug down gently, as if to weigh the silence that stretched between us. My gaze lingered on him, heart racing racing with unspoken longing. I longed to utter a casual remark, something that could drift away like a whisper, but silence enveloped me instead. He drew nearer, heart racing. One step, then another, each one pulling me closer to the edge of what we shouldn't have. My back pressed against the kitchen counter, the chill of it sending a shiver through me. The air around us crackled with tension, every breath heavy with what wasn't said. He kept his distance. He stood there, just inches away, and my heart raced. "I've been thinking about you," he whispered, his voice trembling with unspoken longing. The words pierced deeper than they ever should have. He was young, daring, and perhaps a little reckless. Yet, his voice held no trace of arrogance, only truth, and that shattered me more than anything else ever could. I stayed silent. I couldn't believe what was happening. His hand rose, a slow, deliberate movement, as his fingers brushed against my jaw, not with ownership, just a gentle brush of his fingers, lingering softly. My skin ignited in his wake. And then it happened. He leaned in, the air thick with unspoken words, and I felt the weight of the moment. I could have pulled away and laughed it off, but something held me there, breathless and yearning. Yet, I held back. I tilted my head instinctively, my eyes fluttering shut just as his lips brushed against mine. The kiss was charged, unexpected, a fleeting moment that left my thoughts spinning. It was a spark, unexpected and overwhelming, igniting a fire within that left no room for hesitation. My hands trembled. Caught in a dance of uncertainty, one hand found its way to his chest, while the other clung desperately to the edge of the counter. I savored the rich coffee, but there was an intoxicating hint of something forbidden lingering on my lips, something urgent, something that stirred a forgotten ache within me. It felt like a fleeting moment, yet it lingered in the air, heavy with unspoken desires. I stepped back, my breath hitching, my heart pounding wildly. "I can't," I breathed softly. Yet, I stayed still. He gazed at me, his eyes deeper, filled with unspoken secrets. "You've already surpassed that threshold." There's a faint murmur in the darkness, perhaps just the echo of footsteps, lingering in the air, a reminder of what could never be. A car door, slightly ajar, whispers secrets of stolen moments and unspoken desires. It shattered the moment, leaving only fragments of what could have been. I stumbled back, my heart racing, almost sending the dish crashing to the floor. She placed it on the counter, her heart racing at the sound of the impact, a reminder of the tension that hung between them. He let me go, and in that moment, everything felt so wrong, yet so right. She simply nodded, a silent agreement hanging in the air, charged with unspoken feelings, gentle. Until next time, I stepped out, heart racing, not daring to glance behind me. I slid into the car, my fingers clutching the steering wheel until my knuckles turned pale. My heart raced wildly, caught in a whirlwind of emotions. There was a whisper in my ears, a longing in my throat, and a longing stirred within me, unsettling and impossible to name. Back home, I tossed my dress into the hamper, feeling as if it had turned against me. I slipped into something muted, something tender. I drifted through the house, a shadow of myself, steering clear of the mirror's gaze. My husband returned home later than he ever had before. His lips brushed against my cheek, sending a shiver down my spine. I gasped. He remained oblivious, or feigned ignorance. That night, when his fingers brushed against my skin, I surrendered to the moment. His hands felt like home, the beat of his heart echoing in the shadows of our secret. But I lay there, lost in the shadows of the ceiling, battling the haunting echoes of a touch, a kiss, a presence that felt so wrong yet so right. When it ended, I whispered that I was exhausted. He turned over, a secret smile playing on his lips. I turned away from him, clutching a pillow to my stomach as if it could ease the pain within. I held back the tears. I felt a rush of exhilaration instead. It was a peculiar ache, a crack that had formed within me, leaving me exposed and unwilling to mend it just yet. It was a moment that lingered, charged with unspoken desires. It was a spark, and I felt the pull, knowing I would surrender to it once more. I believed turning away would be simple, if only I could hide that memory away in a secret place within me and pretend that everything remained unchanged. I had crossed that line once before. Hidden heartaches, unfulfilled desires, and quiet grudges linger in the shadows. It had become second nature, a silent dance between us, each movement laced with unspoken longing. Yet, this felt unlike anything else. The kiss lingered, a secret mark on my soul. The memory of his lips lingered, a ghostly warmth against my skin, his fingers brushing my jaw like a secret promise. His essence lingered on my lips each morning, igniting a warmth beneath my skin whenever I caught a fleeting glimpse of myself in the mirror. I fought against it, but the pull was too strong. I convinced myself it was just a momentary lapse, a fleeting thrill that held no real significance. And yet, a flutter of uncertainty gripped me as I walked by his street. As I slowed my pace, my heart raced at the thought of his car, hoping he held on to the memories as tightly as I did. Intense, charged with unspoken desire, forbidden. For days, I stayed away from my friend's house, my heart heavy with unspoken feelings. I turned down her invitations, feigning headaches and inventing errands to escape. She simply accepted it, heart racing in the shadows of what could never be. She was lost in her own world, consumed by her ambitions, her voice a constant stream of excitement about renovations and vacation dreams. Yet, deep down, I understood that this couldn't last. I knew I would have to see him again, and my heart raced at the thought, to feign or to embrace the truth. That is the question. Seeing him in that unexpected place felt like a breath of fresh air, a moment stolen from reality. It was a place where hearts collided, yet remained untouchable. The local community center, where I found myself drawn to the warmth of the literacy program, a place I visited twice a month, holding secrets in the quiet moments shared with those eager to learn. As I wrapped up my session, my heart skipped when I caught sight of him in the hallway, engaged in conversation with someone by the entrance. He slipped into a jacket that hugged his frame. A dark shirt beneath that hinted at secrets, jeans that whispered rebellion, and his perfectly disheveled hair spoke of late nights and stolen moments. He seemed so ordinary, yet there was an undeniable spark that pulled at her heart, a thrill that felt both exhilarating and wrong, inviting, and yet every part of me ignited at the mere glimpse of him. He noticed me. In that fleeting moment, everything else faded away. His lips remained a tight line, betraying nothing. I averted my gaze, heart racing. As I feigned focus on the papers clutched tightly in my hands, the sound of his footsteps sent a shiver down my spine, a prelude to the words that would change everything. "Are you really volunteering now?" he inquired, his voice light. Yet the weight of unspoken feelings lingered in the air. My eyes met his for a fleeting moment. "Always will." He stood in the doorway, arms crossed, his gaze piercing through me, a mix of longing and something unspoken lingering in the air. I never thought our paths would cross like this. Me too. There was a moment of silence, and then I left a piece of my heart for you. I frowned, a rush of unspoken feelings swirling within me. What is this feeling that pulls at my heart? So intense yet so wrong. He drew a crumpled note from his jacket, placing it delicately on the table's edge, as if it held the weight of their unspoken desires. Just a whisper of curiosity. Just this, and nothing else. I held back, my heart aching with the weight of unspoken desire. I focused on his fingers instead, how they hesitated against the wood, hearts racing. For a moment that felt like eternity. "You could have reached out." I spoke, my voice trembling with a facade of indifference. "You shut me out." A quiet ache, devoid of resentment, laced his response, just a truth that tugs at the heart. I stayed silent. He took a step back, his gaze lingering on me, a silent tension hanging in the air. "Be safe." And then he vanished, leaving only the lingering scent of his cologne, a bittersweet reminder of what could never be. His scent was pure, crisp, and tinged with danger. With danger. I hesitated, heart racing, before finally reaching for the paper. It was so simple, yet it felt like a secret we could never reveal. The handwriting was a flurry of emotion, yet it remained clear enough to read. "If I dared to ask for another moment with you, just to share a few words, would you agree?" Untitled. "Not now. Take your time." I tucked it away gently, my heart racing as if I had just crossed an unspoken line. All the way home, I resisted the urge to come to the realization that I had overstepped my boundaries, that it was time to end this. But that night, as my husband lay asleep beside me, his breath a gentle rhythm, I found myself reaching for the note once more. I lost myself in the gentle light of my bedside lamp. In a moment of reckless abandon, I found my pen gliding across the page, pouring out words I never intended to share. "Absolutely. Just once. That's everything." Sleep eluded me, haunted by thoughts I shouldn't entertain. My dreams were filled with fragmented moments, each one pulling at my heart in ways I couldn't fully understand. His face lingered just a breath away. His voice, a soft whisper echoing through the walls, pulls at my heart from afar. The soft, heart-wrenching sound of paper tearing echoed in the silence. When I awoke, an emptiness enveloped me, as if a part of me had been hollowed out, leaving only a raw ache behind. With trembling hands, I tucked the note into the envelope, my heart racing as I dropped it into the mailbox by his building during my morning walk. I turned away, heart racing, not daring to look back. I wondered if he would ever discover it at all. I whispered to myself that it didn't matter. Just 2 days later, a message found its way to me, carried by a mutual friend. They were blissfully unaware of the secret they were carrying in their hearts, a fleeting whisper of what could be. He'll be at the cafe by the park on Friday, just after 4. If you ever feel the urge to come by, I'll be here, waiting. I knew I shouldn't have gone. I always knew that, but the day came. And there I was, gazing into the mirror, slipping into a blouse I hadn't dared to wear in ages. Whispers of soft cream fabric brushed against her skin, igniting a spark of longing that felt both thrilling and wrong. Forbidden whispers. The fabric clung to my skin, igniting a spark of longing. I picked earrings that swayed gently, teasingly, with every turn of my head. I put on the perfume meant for special moments, the kind I rarely let myself wear. As I stepped into the cafe, a flutter of anxiety twisted in my stomach, yet my hands remained calm and resolute. He was already there, waiting at a small table by the window, a spark of something unspoken hanging in the air. He stared at the coffee, a bittersweet reminder of what could never be. His phone lay silent, a barrier between them. As I drew near, his gaze met mine. And in that moment, I caught a glimpse of something unspoken, something that sent a shiver down my spine. Not a game of secrets, not certain, yet it felt more like a secret longing. "Hey there," I whispered, settling into the chair across from him. "You actually came. I promised I would." He nodded, his gaze lingering on me, filled with unspoken words. "Your appearance has changed, beautifully unexpected." His smile was a secret, a dangerous allure that sent shivers down her spine. Intensely, their words stumbled into the air, heavy with unspoken tension. We whispered about trivial things, our hearts racing with unspoken desires, how the town had transformed. The air crackled with unspoken tension, a storm brewing just beneath the surface. Each glance felt like a secret, a fleeting moment that could shatter everything. The world around us faded, leaving only the weight of our unacknowledged feelings, heavy and electric. His position at a design firm, where every glance felt like a stolen moment, was fleeting. Yet, in every whispered syllable, the space between us throbbed with secrets we dared not voice. Each time he drew closer, my heart raced, caught in a whirlwind of longing. Each time his knee grazed mine beneath the table, I felt my words slip away, lost in the electric tension between us. He kept the kiss a secret, neither did I. As I grabbed my coat, his voice lingered in the air, heavy with unspoken words. "You know," he said softly. "You never answered the second question." My heart raced, caught between the thrill of his gaze and the weight of what lay unsaid. My heart stopped. What other question could there be? His eyes locked onto mine, a spark igniting between us. "Do you wish for it to unfold once more?" My gaze locked onto him, my heart racing wildly. "I never voiced it," he whispered, a hint of longing in his eyes. "But I believe you felt it all the same." I rose slowly, my fingers brushing the fabric of my coat, a quiet tension hanging in the air. "What makes you believe I haven't already given you my answer?" He tilted his head, a silent question lingering in the air between them. "Because you linger in my heart." The late afternoon sun cast a warm, golden glow on the pavement, whispering secrets of longing and unspoken desires. The air was cool, yet my skin ignited beneath my blouse. I hurried home, each step heavy with unspoken words, my heart aching for what I left behind. That night, I found myself gazing into the mirror once more, heart racing as the weight of unspoken feelings hung in the air. I brushed my fingers against the earring, its presence a lingering reminder of what we could never fully embrace. I let my blouse slide off, folding it with trembling hands, tucking it away in the drawer like a hidden treasure. My husband's voice drifted from the bedroom, a simple question that felt heavy with unspoken tension. Had I turned off the lights downstairs? I whispered yes, my heart racing, though doubt lingered in the shadows. I slipped into bed next to him, the lingering aroma of the cafe wrapping around me, the unspoken question hanging in the air, answered not by words, but by my very presence, and I felt it deep within me. I couldn't bear the thought of being apart. I never mentioned I would show up. Silence hung heavy in the air, an unspoken truth lingering between us, leaving no room for retreat or second thoughts. And yet, on that Saturday morning, as I loaded the dishwasher in the quiet kitchen, my mind drifted to the outfit I would wear, a flutter of excitement stirring within me. The thought slipped in, unexpected yet achingly familiar, like a fleeting glance or a whispered secret in the quiet of the night. Unspoken, unsteady, forbidden. The truth is, he lingered in my thoughts ever ever since that fateful cafe encounter. His question lingered in my mind, haunting me. It lingered in my mind like a haunting mist, blurring the once vivid images of what I knew. I glided through my days, a shadow of who I truly was, each moment a reminder of the passion I dared not embrace. I engaged in chores, exchanged fleeting glances, and whispered secrets with the person who stirs my heart. Yet, deep down, a longing awakened, not regret, the sweet, painful throb of longing. By noon, I found myself before my closet, torn between dressing for my own reflection or for the secret longing in my heart. I chose white, a color that felt pure yet heavy with unspoken desires. A blouse, untouched for years, whispered secrets of a past I dared not revisit. It brushed against me like a whisper, delicate and electric, stirring something deep within. I slipped into tailored jeans and low heels, wrapping myself in a coat that whispered secrets of longing, only worn when I craved to be noticed. Unseen, noticed. I whispered to my husband that I was meeting a friend for coffee, my heart racing at the thought of the secret that lingered just beneath the surface. He kept his gaze fixed on the screen, oblivious to the world around him. He whispered, his eyes searching mine, asking if I'd return by dinner. I whispered my uncertainty, the weight of it hanging between us like a fragile secret. The cafe felt distant this time, a secret place just out of reach. This place feels different, charged with unspoken tension. This place feels incredibly remote from the world we once knew, a place where hearts collide in silence. A touch of elegance, softly. I stepped inside, my heart racing as I saw him waiting there, an air of unspoken tension between us. 2 cups, a silent promise lingering between them. His lips remained pressed together, a hint of something unspoken lingering in the air. He just glanced my way. Bit by bit, every inch ignited a spark within. Then it returned to my lips. That gaze settled deep within me, a secret I dared not speak. In that moment, the world faded away, and all that remained was the whisper of his words, echoing in the space between us. I took a seat, my heart racing with unspoken words lingering in the air. You craved it without saying a word. Your silence spoke volumes. His fingers brushed the warm cup, a fleeting moment that sent a shiver through him, stirring emotions he dared not acknowledge. I traced the memory of his hands, recalling how they had clung to the edge of the counter, a moment suspended in time. Our conversation lingered for just a few fleeting minutes, charged with unspoken feelings. The light moments, shrouded in secrecy, were just enough to feel thrillingly dangerous. His leg grazed mine under the table, and we both lingered in that electric moment, unwilling to pull away. It happened in a moment, unexpected and electric. What unfolded after that? Perhaps it truly was. Perhaps, in the hush between us, we had both silently acknowledged that this moment had come long before we dared to confess it. He was the first to step forward. He whispered that he had something to reveal to me. A nearby gallery, a fleeting pop-up event, he whispered, as if sharing a secret meant only for us. I couldn't help but follow. My heart yearned to follow, not because I trusted him. The walk was brief, a fleeting moment just around the block. Yet with each step, my breath grew more fragile. He kept his distance, his gaze lingering only for fleeting moments. But I could sense the electric tension crackling between us, a force we both knew we shouldn't acknowledge. The gallery stood silent, its doors locked tight, a world of unspoken longing trapped within. He stopped before it, his gaze flickering to mine, a teasing smirk playing on his lips. That stings a little. I pressed my back against the cool wall, arms wrapped tightly around myself, as if shielding my heart from the world. You always knew it would end this way. Perhaps a heavy pause lingered in the air. Then he moved in, the air thick with unspoken words. Only one. His hand brushed against my cheek, tucking a stray strand of hair behind my ear, and it stayed there, electric and forbidden. His thumb brushed softly against my jawline, sending a shiver down my spine. Gentle, intentional, I let him go. I craved the thrill of reckless abandon, he whispered. I breathed softly. Then just don't. This kiss lingered, a moment stolen from the world around them. It blossomed quietly, as if it were a cherished secret from the past, waiting to be unveiled. His lips brushed against mine, filled with a quiet confidence, yet lingering in the moment as if time stood still. My hands found their way to his chest, fingers trembling as they curled against the fabric. A silent plea hanging in the air between us. My heart raced with every glance, every touch, a whirlwind of emotions I never expected. His breath lingered, a whisper of something unspoken. Her heart raced. The fire between us no longer sought approval. Our silence hung between us, heavy and electric. Words felt inadequate, as if they could only diminish the intensity of what was between them. Afterward, we strolled back toward the cafe, hearts racing with unspoken words. I lingered near him, my heart racing. Yet I dared not reach out. My heart raced, as if I had just sprinted through a storm, each beat echoing the thrill of the moment. He stole a fleeting glance my way, only this once, and I could sense he felt it as well. The kiss was more than just heat. It carried the heavy burden of unspoken desires. I slipped into my car, heart racing with unspoken desires. He drove home, the weight of unspoken words heavy in the air, each mile a reminder of what could never be. The white blouse clung to my skin, a haunting reminder of what we could never fully embrace. At home, the air hung heavy with unspoken words. He had arranged everything perfectly, the flickering candlelight casting shadows on the walls, the wine glistening in the glasses, a moment that felt both intimate and wrong. His smile lit up the room as I entered, a secret pride shimmering in his eyes. I imagined a real dinner together, he whispered, his eyes glinting with a mix of hope and something unspoken. It feels like an eternity. I lingered in the doorway, my heart racing, knowing I shouldn't be there. The shock hit me like a sudden jolt, the heat of his longing. His words gently caressed me. I craved a spark, a fleeting connection that danced just out of reach. Thank you for everything. Longing, even the weight of guilt. Instead, I felt an ache deep within. I slipped into something looser, the fabric soft against my skin, and scrubbed away the lingering traces of what had been. He shared the details of his week, each word laced with an unspoken longing. Whispers of tension linger in the air, anticipated encounters. He leaned closer, his eyes searching mine, and asked me questions that made my heart race. He listened when I spoke, and it felt like a secret shared between us, a moment that lingered just a heartbeat too long. His fingers brushed against mine, and I couldn't pull away. After dinner, we cleared the plates, the air thick with unspoken words. His presence enveloped me as he stood behind me, arms encircling my waist, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and wrong. I froze, just a whisper of longing. His lips brushed against my neck, and he whispered about how he longed for this moment. I masked my heartache with a fragile smile. So am I. We slipped under the covers, hearts racing, knowing the world outside would never understand. His hand brushed against mine once more, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and wrong. This time, I couldn't hold back. I kissed him in a moment that felt both thrilling and wrong. I let him see through the layers I kept hidden, each moment heavy with emotion. I hoped I could close the distance between us. Imagine if everything stayed perfectly still. Yet, I found myself unable to resist the urge to compare. Her lips brushed against someone else's. He danced to a melody only they could hear. His touch carried the weight of history, both familiar and dangerous. I lay awake long after he drifted into dreams. My hands trembled as I sat there, the tension within me too loud to ignore. The room was thick with the weight of our unspoken past. Entwined whispers, familiar patterns that tug at the heart, freshly washed. The scent of fabric softener lingers in the air, a reminder of stolen moments and whispered secrets. I longed for the unknown. For the first time, I let myself feel the thrill of wanting it, no longer fighting the pull of something so beautifully wrong. What lay beneath was far more uncomplicated. I craved it, not the rush of it all, not the hidden moments. I craved the rush of life coursing through my veins once more, and he felt a spark that ignited something deep within her, a connection that was both thrilling and dangerous. Their eyes met, and in that fleeting moment, the world around them faded away, leaving only the weight of unspoken desires hanging in the air. It was a love that dared to exist, even if it was wrapped in shadows. He caressed that part of me as if it were the last treasure left in a world gone cold. I shut my eyes, surrendering to the silence, where dreams dared not tread. I could already sense it deeply within my soul. Some mornings arrive with a tender stillness, leaving a hollow ache in their wake, like a blank canvas, waiting for the first brushstroke of desire. That Monday held a secret all its own. I stirred in the stillness, the world outside still cloaked in darkness. The sky hung heavy, a bruised blend of blue and gray, whispering secrets of longing and unspoken desires. My husband shifted next to me, yet remained blissfully unaware. I watched him breathe, each rise and fall igniting a longing I dared not acknowledge. and I couldn't help but wonder how many pieces of my soul he thought he had uncovered, and how many he never realized were drifting out of reach. As I slipped into the warm embrace of the water, I couldn't help but glance back at him, lost in dreams, unaware of the tension that lingered between us. The water poured over me, a burning embrace that lingered too long, tracing every curve, every secret I held close. I pressed my forehead against the cool tile, lost in the memory of that stolen kiss outside the gallery just 2 days ago. I couldn't shake the longing that consumed me once more, not the fleeting instant. Yet, the emotions it stirred within me were undeniable, irresistible. In the dim light of the bedroom, I pulled open my underwear drawer, my heart racing as I paused, caught between desire and doubt. I hesitated, my fingers brushing past the familiar cotton and beige lace, drawn instead to something more daring. I revealed something unexpected, a crimson ensemble. The whispers of silk against skin create a touch that lingers just beyond reach. It was never about comfort. It was a choice that tugged at her heart, a whisper of longing that felt both thrilling and wrong. I chose my outfit with trembling hands that morning, with a sense of urgency I hadn't felt in ages, a black skirt that clung to my hips, daring and unapologetic. A snug top exposed my collarbones, igniting a thrill of secrecy, a coat draped carelessly over my shoulders, a whisper of warmth in the cool air. He had asked me once, his voice barely a whisper, as if the words themselves were too precious to be spoken aloud. Softly, it lingered in the air, a whisper of temptation, hinting at the scent I wore. I wore it now, feeling the weight of unspoken words and stolen moments. It wasn't the question itself, but rather the haunting echo of his voice when he dared to ask. I whispered to my husband that I had errands to run. I pressed my lips to his cheek in the dimly lit hallway, a fleeting moment that felt both electric and wrong. His scent was a tantalizing mix of shaving cream and fresh orange peels, stirring something deep within her that felt both thrilling and wrong. He smiled as if he held on to the magic of fleeting moments. The meeting place lacked any hint of romance. The meeting place was tucked away like a secret stop on the road, just 20 minutes away from everything we know. He had whispered it softly in a message the night before, a spark of something dangerous lingering in the air. A hidden gem awaits at the Heritage Museum, whispering secrets of longing and desire. It might just be the perfect reason. I realized it was never really about the art. As I stepped out, my heart raced at the sight of his car waiting, a silent promise hanging in the air. He pressed himself against it, heart racing with unspoken desires, fingers trembling, hidden deep in his pockets, sunglasses nestled into his tousled hair, a fleeting moment of intimacy hanging in the air. He seemed impossibly young, yet there was a confidence in him that sent shivers down my spine, and I despised how my body betrayed me, responding before my mind could even comprehend the danger. "You came," he whispered, taking a step closer. "How could I not?" I whispered back. Within the museum's hushed halls, we wandered past relics of a bygone era, each artifact whispering secrets of lives once lived. Our eyes barely met theirs. We were two souls caught in a moment, wandering through a world that felt empty, each heartbeat a reminder of the distance we dared not cross. He stood so close, yet his fingers never brushed my skin, but I could sense it growing stronger. The quiet moments lingered, filled with unspoken feelings, stolen looks, and the electric tension of his presence, always a breath away from crossing a line. In the last room, a delicate video installation flickered endlessly, whispering secrets of longing and desire. The video installation whispers of forgotten train routes, where stories linger in the shadows, waiting to be discovered. We lingered in the shadows, hidden from the world. I whispered a thought about the music playing in the background. He whispered something about losing the moment. And then, in a moment that stole my breath, he turned to me. "This is tearing me apart," he murmured, his voice low and intense. "You linger in my thoughts." Always just out of reach, I swallowed hard, my heart racing as the ground seemed to shift beneath me. "It's not right. You shouldn't either," he whispered, a hint of longing in his voice. Yet, against all odds, here we stand. I held my breath, silence wrapping around us like a secret we dared not share. I took a hesitant step forward. He never dared to ask. I couldn't hold back. This kiss held a weight, a spark of something unspoken and thrilling. No longing. There's no doubt. It was a rush of longing and desire, all the months of waiting collapsing into a single moment. His hand slipped beneath my coat, fingers grazing the curve of my back, then pressing firmly into the delicate space just above my hips. I pressed my lips to his with a desperation I hadn't intended. I longed to bridge the gap between my past self and the person I was destined to be. He drew away first, his breath shaky, our foreheads touching softly. "If we keep doing this," he whispered, his breath warm against her skin, "you won't be able to resist." "I can't," I whispered. We lingered in that stolen moment, hearts racing, just breathing. As we stepped out of the museum, silence hung between us, heavy with unspoken words. The wind howled outside, a restless whisper of secrets untold. My coat fluttered open, and I embraced it, indifferent to the eyes that lingered. In the car, I sat quietly, fingers intertwined in my lap, lost in the world outside the window. He drove slowly, one hand gripping the wheel, the other lingering near the gear shift, a tension hanging in the air between them, just a breath away from my heart. At a red light, his voice broke the silence, sending a shiver down her spine. "How about we escape together next weekend?" Only a fleeting moment. He's gone, yet he's not forgotten. I glanced at him. Why must it be this way? My heart aches to be near you. I can't disguise my longing for you as anything more. I hesitated, my heart racing with unspoken words. My heart raced with the thrill of what could be, the danger lurking in every glance, and the secrets I'd have to weave. Yet, my heart had whispered its agreement long before. That evening, he stood on the porch, a shadow of longing in his eyes. He cradled a wine glass in one hand, a new novel whispering secrets in the other. He leaned in, his voice low, and asked about my day, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and dangerous. I mentioned it felt endless. His lips brushed my forehead, a tender promise lingering in the air as he whispered that dinner was almost ready. Once more, we shared a meal under the soft glow of candlelight. He whispered that he was proud of how deeply I had immersed myself in the community, a hint of longing in his eyes. He whispered that I looked stunning in black. A smile broke through, bittersweet and fleeting. Later that night, he drew closer to me in the dim light of the room. I surrendered to him. His hands trembled with a mix of longing and hesitation. I replied with a whisper of my heart. I whispered the right words, feeling the heat of his body against mine. Yet deep within, my heart wandered to a different place altogether. In that shadowy corner of the gallery, the silk brushed against my skin, and the taste of a forbidden kiss lingered on my lips, listening to a voice whisper my name, as if it held a secret weight. Afterward, I wrapped myself in a cocoon of longing, my gaze fixed on the ceiling. Lost in a whirlwind of unspoken desires, I held back the tears. I felt a rush of exhilaration, a thrill that danced just beneath the surface, whispering secrets of what could never be. I felt alive, yet so very lost. And I felt the pull of next weekend, a secret promise I couldn't resist. In the days that followed, I played my part, hiding the storm of emotions brewing within me. I prepared a meal, smoothed out the towels, and replied to messages, all while my heart whispered secrets of a love that felt just out of reach. I made time for the mundane dental appointment, dry cleaning, and even the bird feeder in the backyard. Yet, my heart lingered on the unspoken, the thrill of what could be, just out of reach. If anyone had dared to ask, they would have claimed I appeared happy. Even my husband noticed it one fateful morning over breakfast. They said I seemed lighter, more alive, as if a secret spark had ignited within me. His smile lingered as he spoke, a hint of something unspoken in the air. I returned the smile, a spark of something unspoken lingering between us. I was learning to embrace comfort as if it were my own secret armor. Yet, deep within, I found myself lost in another world. There I was, lost in that hallway once more, his lips capturing mine, his fingers tracing my spine. As I sat in the passenger seat of his car, the world outside melted away, trees rushing by like fleeting moments, each one a reminder of the unspoken connection between us as we drove toward an uncertain destination. Within the shadows of my secret, I found a world that felt like home, where every heartbeat echoed my true self. Even as the thrill of its forbidden nature pulled me deeper in, I felt a thrill of anticipation, knowing deep down that I would be with him that weekend. Even if nothing was set in stone, it was never about running away. It was something deeper, a spark that ignited in the shadows. It was an unquestionably true moment. I discovered a part of me that felt so foreign, yet so intoxicating, and I couldn't bear the thought of losing her. Yet, as I prepared for the inevitable, I whispered to myself that I must mend the fractures at home, or at the very least, create the illusion of harmony. I suggested making dinner reservations for Saturday night. Fully aware that we would never go, I whispered to my husband about a possible trip to see my sister in the city. He nodded, lost in thought, choosing silence over questions. I couldn't shake the feeling that he knew, even if he chose to hide it away, deep within himself. On Thursday, I caught a glimpse of her son, my heart's secret. She had invited me for lunch, her tone light and carefree. But beneath it all, there was an undeniable tension that made my heart race. She spoke of the mundane, yet her eyes hinted at secrets untold. Her heart raced with the weight of her responsibilities, the thrill of an impending journey, and the secret excitement of a recipe she longed to create. Her silence revealed a wealth of information about him. Never yet. He lingered in every shadow of that house. His scent still clung to the couch pillows, a bittersweet reminder of moments stolen away. His shoes lingered by the back door, a silent reminder of the moments stolen and whispers shared in the shadows. His voice lingered in my thoughts, and I found myself stealing glances toward the hallway, heart racing with each fleeting moment. She extended a cup of coffee, her eyes lingering on mine, a silent invitation that felt both thrilling and dangerous. I couldn't resist. My hands shook ever so slightly as I raised the cup, a rush of forbidden feelings swirling within me. I convinced myself it was merely the coffee's allure. As I stood at the door, her eyes searched mine, a flicker of concern dancing between us, a moment too precious to let go. Her voice had shifted, a subtle tremor that sent shivers down his spine. There was nothing to question. Intrigued, perhaps even tender, a fleeting smile escaped me. Too eager, too soon. Absolutely. Why shouldn't it be? She tilted her head, her gaze lingering on me just a heartbeat too long. Then she whispered, "You seem changed lately. It feels like you're lost in your thoughts." I laughed, but it felt wrong. Perhaps I am. Her fingers brushed against my arm, sending a shiver through me. To think is to tread on fragile ground. My heart raced as I stepped out of her house, feeling vulnerable in a way that surprised me. As I drove home, her words echoed in my heart, a bittersweet melody I couldn't shake off. Thoughts can lead to perilous places. She was blissfully unaware, or perhaps she truly did. Women possess an uncanny ability to feel the subtle changes in the atmosphere, even when the words elude them. Under the cover of darkness, I slipped a few essentials into a small bag, my heart racing with the thrill of what lay ahead. I confided in my husband once more about my sister. I pressed my lips to his in a soft good night, then nestled beside him in the shadows, my heart racing wildly against the bed beneath us. As dawn broke, he slipped away, leaving behind a lingering ache in her heart. I lingered in the silence for what felt like an eternity before finally slipping into my clothes. I changed into something that made me feel bold, unfamiliar yet freeing. The dress, unfamiliar yet hauntingly beautiful, took his breath away. Soft whispers of desire, a hint of makeup, a whisper of something I hadn't dared to embrace in ages. I felt like a stranger in my own skin. Or rather, I saw a reflection of a part of me I thought I had hidden forever. He swept me away from the edge of town. Our silence hung heavy between us. We drove, the air whispering secrets through the slightly open windows, whispers of the breeze caressing our skin. The radio whispered a tender melody, unforgettable. As we drove toward the horizon, his fingers brushed against mine. Our eyes locked in a moment heavy with meaning, too deep to define. I surrendered to him. I gazed out the window, holding on tightly to the moment. We found ourselves in a quaint coastal town where the air was thick with unspoken feelings. Whispers linger in the silence, unnoticed yet yearning. We slipped into a bed and breakfast, the air thick with the scent of lavender and salt, a secret escape just for us. The woman at the desk looked at us, her eyes sparkling with curiosity, and asked if we were celebrating something special. He whispered yes. I let it linger, the unspoken truth hanging between us. We strolled through winding alleys, dined by the shimmering water, and whispered secrets over a bottle of wine beneath a delicate canvas umbrella. He whispered secrets that felt too intimate to share. In the quiet of my childhood, shadows of regret lingered, weaving through the dreams that danced just out of reach when sleep eluded me. I spoke from the heart, not because I was bound to him, but because I craved the thrill of truth spilling from my lips, a secret longing laid bare. He listened as if my words were secrets meant only for him, igniting a spark I hadn't felt in years. His laughter danced with my sarcasm, a playful challenge to my cynicism. while his fingers brushed my knee under the table, igniting a breathless thrill that felt both exhilarating and wrong. Our lips never met again that day. We kept our distance, only brushing against the surface, never crossing into the private. Yet, an undeniable connection blossomed between us, something intense and impossible to ignore. That night, alone in the dim light of the inn, I lingered before the mirror. Lost in a whirlwind of emotions, I stood before the mirror, overwhelmed by a wave of emotion I couldn't name as I caught a glimpse of myself, feeling both vulnerable and alive in that moment. The gentle knock on the bedroom door sent a shiver down my spine. I hesitated, my heart racing. I pressed my fingers against my stomach, feeling the warmth of a secret that both thrilled and terrified me. I shut my eyes tight. I could feel the heaviness of each choice that brought me to this moment. Finally, I turned the handle and stepped into the unknown. He lingered in the shadows, words unspoken, a tension hanging between them. Not a single smile. The silence conveys a powerful message. I moved aside, heart racing as he crossed the threshold. Our fingers brushed, but we held back. We lingered at the edge of the bed, our shoulders barely touching, a spark igniting in the silence between us. The air between us crackled with unspoken desire. "I can't bear the thought of destroying your happiness," he whispered, his voice trembling. I glanced at him. "Then just don't." His gaze lingered on me, heavy with unspoken words. Then he whispered, "I crave more." I was lost in the uncertainty of his words, wondering if he craved more time, more of me, or something deeper that we dared not explore. But I gave a small, hesitant nod. That night, as we lay side by side, our clothes a barrier, yet our hearts exposed, we whispered secrets into the shadows, and I realized a truth I had long kept hidden. It was never just about the touch. It was never meant to be. It was about gaining recognition, despite the discomfort it caused. Noticed. Destined. In that tiny, borrowed space, away from all that was known, I discovered a sense of belonging I thought I had lost forever. Not for him, not for anyone else. This is the secret of my heart. This was meant to be our final moment together. It lingered there, a quiet pact, unvoiced yet palpable in the delicate pauses of our exchanges. A stolen weekend together, a fleeting moment together. And then we would part ways, slipping back into the shadows of our own worlds. My heart whispers secrets to him, to the moments that bind us, yet keep us apart, to the embrace of the unspoken. He lingered on the edge of whatever normalcy awaited him beyond me. As we said our goodbyes on Sunday, his kiss on my hand felt like a whisper of something more, a promise lingering in the air. He held the door open, keeping his distance, yet I sensed he had unlocked a hidden part of us, one that was both thrilling and dangerous. By Monday morning, I found myself entwined once more in the familiar cadence of my home life, yet a lingering ache whispered of something unspoken, something that felt just out of reach. The kettle whistled softly at 7, 10, a sound that felt like a secret shared between two hearts. The washing machine whirred softly at 8, 15, a quiet reminder of the moments we shared in secret. Every night at 9, the neighbor's dog barked, a reminder of the unspoken tension that lingered in the air between us. Yet, I found myself drifting through it all as if I were merely a ghost in someone else's skin. My gestures felt right, yet they carried a weight of unspoken longing. My smiles came effortlessly, masking the turmoil beneath. He brushed his lips against my cheek, his words a soft caress as he admired my hair, suggesting we create a secret plan for the weekend. I whispered, "Let's just see where this week takes us." He held back, yet the peace of my heart that had blossomed in that serene coastal town, the peace that had thrived in silence beside him, could never be shut away. He had walked away, taking with him a part of me I never realized was missing, and now I held it close, a hidden truth pulsing beneath my skin. 3 days slipped by, wrapped in an aching silence. Silence hangs heavy, a void where words should be. I never saw it coming. I convinced myself that staying away was the only way to protect my heart. I wrapped it around my heart, soft and pure, a secret comfort that whispered of longing. But by Thursday, the silence had taken on a new weight. It was no longer just the vast emptiness of space. It felt like a burden too heavy to bear. An insistent longing coiled within me, intensifying with each passing moment. He remained silent. That evening, I wandered aimlessly, my heart heavy with unspoken desires. I wandered through streets that once felt like home, yet now they seemed distant and strange. The shops, the lampposts, the perfectly trimmed hedges, all reminders of a world that feels just out of reach. Everything felt blurred, as if I were merely a shadow in a world that no longer embraced me. My heels whispered against the pavement as I approached the park, heart racing with anticipation. I never meant to find myself in that place. My feet led me to a place I never thought I'd go. I lingered on a bench by the path, hidden beneath the skeletal branches of the trees. The wind whispered secrets of autumn's arrival. Wet leaves whisper secrets, and the distant aroma of smoke lingers, hinting at something hidden and forbidden. I wrapped my coat around me, heart racing, as I sat in silence, absorbing the whispers of joggers, the soft barks of dogs, and the fleeting conversations that brushed past me like secrets in the air. And then our eyes met. He was walking away, and my heart ached with every step he took. He didn't even glance my way. He lingered at the pond's edge, fingers tucked away, gazing at the water's gentle ripples, a stillness that pierced his heart. I stayed still, heart racing. I held my breath. Yet, deep down, he must have sensed it. A hidden connection, a spark of longing. He turned slowly, and in that fleeting moment, our eyes locked, igniting a spark that felt both thrilling and dangerous. His lips remained pressed together, a silent barrier between them. He approached her, heart racing. As if the world around them faded away, he sat beside me as if fate had woven our paths together, as if the unspoken words between us were merely a whisper in the air, waiting to be acknowledged. "I never expected to find you here," he whispered, his voice laced with longing. My gaze lingered on him, filled with doubt and longing. "What are you doing here?" He let out a soft sigh, a hint of longing in his eyes. "I find myself here often, lost in thought." "It's you." "Likewise." He turned his head to meet my gaze, a spark igniting between us that felt both thrilling and wrong. "Deceiver." I released a breath that hung in the air, a fragile sound that could be mistaken for laughter or a quiet cry, depending on the listener's heart. We lingered in silence, the air thick with unspoken words. The sun sank, bathing his face in a warm, golden glow. In that light, he seemed to carry the weight of unspoken secrets, not due to age, but rather a depth etched into his gaze. Perhaps it was a longing for something more, or a secret understanding. He shattered the stillness first. "I'm leaving just a week from now. I received a job offer in Denver." A weight fell within me, sinking deep like a pebble into still waters. "How long can we keep this secret?" I dared to ask. He turned away, a flicker of longing in his eyes. "I can't help but feel uncertain. Perhaps forever." I turned my gaze, heart racing, my throat constricted. "That's too personal. I never meant to share this with you. I thought it would lighten the burden. Who does it really benefit?" His silence hung in the air, heavy and unspoken. Instead, he slipped his hand into his coat pocket, retrieving a folded note that seemed to hold secrets of a love that dared not speak its name. He kept it just out of reach. He cradled it gently, a secret between us. "If you want to see me again before I leave," he whispered, his fingers brushing the note as he set it on the bench between us. "It must be your decision." My heart raced as I glanced at the note. The wind whispered secrets as it tugged at the edge. But I held on, my fingers trembling over the corner, desperate to keep it from escaping. He rose, lingering in the moment. "I have no regrets," he whispered, his eyes filled with a mix of longing and sorrow. "But I can't bear the thought of being just another secret in your life." And then he turned and left, leaving a hollow ache in her chest. My heart raced as I gazed at the note. I couldn't bring myself to open it. Not just yet. I lingered on that bench as the sky deepened to a soft violet, the lamps awakening one by one, casting a warm glow over the secrets we shared. As I finally revealed it, my heart raced at its simplicity. A place, a moment, and a whisper. No words can capture this. I slipped it into my coat pocket and made my way home, each step heavier than the last. That night, sleep eluded me. I lay beside him, the warmth of his presence a bittersweet comfort. As I listened to the rhythm of his breath, each inhale a reminder of the love I couldn't fully claim. I traced the outline of his hand on the blanket, the gentle curve of his wedding ring a bittersweet reminder of what could never be. I searched my heart for the memory of our last late-night conversation, the kind that lingered in the shadows. Filled with unspoken words and stolen glances, his fingers lingered on my skin, a desperate connection that felt both thrilling and wrong. I often questioned if he could see the way I faded away, even as I stood so close to him. As dawn broke, his lips brushed against mine in a fleeting farewell, a moment both tender and tinged with longing. He leaned closer, his voice barely above a whisper, asking if I craved anything from the store. "I can't. I just can't," He walked away, leaving a hollow ache in her chest. As I sat at the kitchen table, the note lay open before me, my fingers dancing over the familiar handwriting, searching for secrets hidden in its curves, longing for a connection that felt both thrilling and wrong. I was torn, unsure if I should step into the unknown. Yet, deep down, I was aware of this truth. It was impossible to ignore the spark that ignited within me the moment our eyes met once more. And I couldn't hide the truth that it meant everything. Some moments in life slip in quietly, unannounced, yet they linger in the heart, igniting a spark that feels both thrilling and wrong. No stormy skies, no breathless confessions. The unspoken truth lingers between you, a fragile thread binding your fates. No matter what unfolds, you both know there's no turning back now. That morning, as I sat at the kitchen table with his note before me, a rush of emotions washed over me. I knew I had crossed a line. The paper warmed my fingers, a lingering trace of his touch that sent a shiver through me. The handwriting, so familiar yet forbidden, sharp and slightly tilted, held steady, betraying no hint of the turmoil beneath. It should have been hours. I glanced at the address once more, my heart racing as I checked the time. The time was 4 o'clock on Saturday. The air was thick with unspoken words, a moment suspended in time, where every heartbeat echoed the thrill of what could never be. Just a fleeting glance, a moment that lingers in the heart. A door was slightly cracked, inviting yet hesitant. If I were to step into it, it would be on my own terms, with my heart racing and the thrill of the unknown pulling me in. For most of the day, I felt like I was drifting in a dream, lost in a world where everything was just out of reach. I folded the towels, my hands trembling as I smoothed each crease. Folding them again, desperate to keep my mind occupied, I drifted through the empty halls, cradling a mug of tea that had lost its warmth. Just like the fleeting moments we shared, I held back the tears. I held my breath, heart racing, but I didn't panic. What I experienced was a profound sensation that hovered on the boundary between right and wrong. A whisper of loss lingers in the air, not for what I was about to lose, but for the part of me that would forever remain out of reach. I envisioned staying away. I practiced the words I would whisper to my heart. It felt genuine, yet it slipped away too quickly. It was a fleeting warmth, a hidden spark, cherished but never chased. I longed to feel the embrace of what I once knew, the gentle fading of feeling, the hushed embrace of a union that had long since surrendered to the weight of unspoken words. I would strive, with all my heart, to erase the memory of being desired without the weight of duty. Yet, with each fleeting thought of that life, I felt the walls closing in around me. That night, I lay in bed beside my husband, my heart racing with unspoken desires. He read in silence, the soft glow of the lamp illuminating his features, creating an intimate moment that felt both tender and secret. My heart raced as I caught a glimpse of his lips, softly tracing the words on the page. His hand lay casually on his thigh, a single finger playfully wedged between the chapters, igniting a spark of something unspoken between us. I struggled to recall the sensation of his skin against mine. Fighting the urge to draw comparisons, I reached deep within, yearning for the warmth I remembered he once held. And I discovered it, a memory, haunting yet vivid. Those fleeting moments of our youth. His warm breath whispered against my neck. His voice trembled as he whispered that he was unworthy of me. I switched off my light, curling onto my side, heart racing with unspoken thoughts. With his arm brushing against mine, he pursued me, making me shiver. Our silence hung between us, heavy with unspoken words. He leaned closer, his presence stirring something deep within me, a fleeting touch as his thoughts wandered far away. I lay awake, heart racing, captivated by the sound of his breath as dawn's light timidly seeped through the blinds. The following day passed in a quiet haze, as if the world held its breath, waiting for something unspoken to unfold. I drifted through the day, each moment a delicate dance of longing and restraint. Grocery shopping, heart racing with every message reply, lingering at stoplights, savoring the moments that feel too long yet too fleeting. I dared not glance at the note once more. I shouldn't have had to. The address was etched in my heart, a secret I could never forget. As Saturday dawned, I whispered to my husband that I craved a moment to myself. I mentioned I might wander through an art exhibit, perhaps sneak into a bookstore afterward. His lips brushed softly against my temple. "Take your time," he whispered, a hint of longing in his voice, and I couldn't help myself. I left the town behind, the quiet wrapping around me like a secret. Silence enveloped us, the world outside fading away. The road felt like home, yet the destination held a secret thrill. My hands gripped the wheel with a calmness that belied the storm brewing in my stomach, a feeling that was anything but nerves. It was a desperate longing, a bittersweet understanding that this had transcended him. This was all about me. The house lingered, hidden and still, at the edge of a shadowy path, holding secrets of longing and whispered dreams, hidden away, yet so close. A fleeting moment, surely fleeting, just like us. The gravel whispered secrets beneath my tires as I slipped into the driveway, heart racing with the thrill of the moment. I lingered in the silence, heart racing, the key heavy in my palm. And then I stepped into the world outside. He stood there, waiting, as if he knew I was coming. Our silence hung heavy between us. Not just yet. He moved aside, and as I slipped past him into the room bathed in soft, golden light, my heart raced with a mix of longing and uncertainty. A small, intimate corner, a couch, a few books piled on the table, a bag left half-zipped by the window, whispering secrets of a moment stolen away. It felt too pristine, too untouched, as if he was hiding something beneath the surface. He never sought to make it beautiful. It wrapped around me like a secret, soothing yet thrilling in its quiet intensity. He lingered just behind me, the air thick with unspoken words, his presence electrifying yet distant, just existing in this moment. Heart racing. I nearly turned away. Yet, you did. I turned to meet his gaze. Absolutely. The silence between us crackled with unspoken longing, light yet filled with unspoken longing, overflowing with unspoken words, a weight of emotions lingering between us. I perched on the edge of the couch, and he slipped in beside me, careful to keep a space between us that felt both safe and charged. His hand lingered on the cushion between us, a silent promise of what could never be, fingers trembling, heart racing, a whisper, not a command. I'm lost in this feeling, I whispered. Neither do I. Today feels like the end of something beautiful and yet so uncertain. I can't shake the feeling that everything is about to change. I can't bring myself to ask you for that. We lingered in that moment, the air thick with unspoken feelings. Finally, I reclined, letting out a soft breath, the weight of unspoken feelings hanging in the air. I've never crossed this line before, I whispered. Deceived. I chose this number myself. His smile was gentle, tinged with a hint of sorrow. Our fingers touched briefly, a silent understanding passing between us in the space between us. His thumb brushed softly against my wrist, reminiscent of the way he had caressed my jaw in the kitchen, a time when everything felt untouched by what was to come. I want you to know, he said, his voice barely above a whisper, that the present doesn't have to become something else to matter. It matters now, I whispered. That's the heart of it. His gaze lingered on mine, a spark passing in silence that said more than words. It can wait. Not craving anything right now. Absolutely certain. In that fleeting moment, our silence spoke louder than any confession. Later, we found ourselves on the couch. We sat close, wrapped in a silence that felt both safe and unspoken. My head rests against his chest, his fingers gliding over my arm in soft, lingering touches. We dared not speak of what lay ahead. We never spoke of farewells. We were merely shadows, lingering in the spaces between what we dared to feel. In secret, we find solace, hanging in the balance. There was a moment when he leaned closer and whispered, asking if I would stay the night. I turned away, my heart racing. I have to leave now. He simply nodded, a silent agreement hanging in the air, heavy with unspoken feelings. He guided me to my car, his hand resting at the small of my back, as if it were meant to be there forever. The sky deepened to a shade of bruised fruit, heavy with unspoken desires. I opened the door, hesitated, and met his gaze. Will you dare to call me? I dared to ask. If you truly desire it. I couldn't bring myself to respond. I slipped inside, shut the door softly, and sped away. That night, I slipped back into my house, heart racing with the weight of unspoken desires, to the porch light that lingers, casting shadows of what could be, to the husband who lingered, his gentle kiss whispering secrets, asking about dinner with a hint of longing. I responded to him. A smile tugged at my lips. I slipped into bed beside him, my skin tingling with the lingering warmth of another's breath. For the first time, my heart felt whole. In that fleeting moment, I felt complete, just for a fleeting moment. I once thought that coming back would erase everything, that if I returned, walked back into this life, this home, this union, I could somehow wipe away the moments that had changed everything, as if losing him could somehow erase the memory of what we shared. Yet, I understand so much more now. You come back changed, as if a part of you has been left behind. You take pieces of the past with you, whispers of longing, hidden desires, a fleeting look, a spark, the silhouette of a name that lingers in silence. and somehow you find a way to slip them into the fleeting moments between smoothing the sheets and pouring that first cup of coffee, like a secret buried deep within your heart. The days that followed felt achingly mundane, a stark contrast to the whirlwind of emotions that had briefly swept me away. They were also the most irresistible. The kitchen was filled with the intoxicating scent of basil, mingling with the sharpness of dish soap, creating an atmosphere thick with unspoken tension. The radio whispered its familiar, gentle news. My husband inquired about stories I had yet to explore and films I had never seen. I replied with silent nods, fleeting answers, and carefully crafted smiles. I swear, I didn't lie, not in the usual way. The quiet between us whispered secrets that the truth dared not reveal. Yet in the stillness, I held on to the final glimpse of him, hovering in the doorway of that rented house. My heart raced with a mix of longing and uncertainty. His hands lingered, a warmth that felt both electric and wrong. His face was a mask of silence, as if he were etching a secret into his heart, something he longed for but could never ask me to share. I never said he shouldn't reach out. I never asked him to. He just couldn't. I convinced myself the situation was for the best. We had whispered the words that hung between us, heavy with unspoken longing. It was a fleeting heartbeat, a whisper lost in the shadows. Or at least it had found a fragile peace, like a whisper in the shadows, longing to be heard. One fateful afternoon, my friend reached out. Her heart raced at the thought of him. She knew the boundaries that kept them apart. Her voice lingered in the air, familiar yet haunting, stirring emotions that were meant to remain unspoken, intense, perfected, filled with a restless spark that propelled words forward, never allowing the weight of unasked questions to linger in the air. He walked away, leaving a hollow ache in her chest. She whispered, "Denver, a city where hearts collide in secret whispers and stolen glances. The opportunity has arrived." Everything was hurried, a whirlwind of emotions. And by Monday, it was all just a memory. "You knew all along, didn't you?" "Absolutely." I spoke, my words tumbling out before I could catch them. "Are you all right?" she whispered. It felt surreal to hear that question, especially since I wasn't the one leaving. "I'm okay." She hesitated, her heart racing, then whispered the words that felt both thrilling and dangerous. "He whispered that you showed him kindness." Her voice held a secret, a delicate balance of understanding and unspoken longing. So close, yet so far. A whisper lingered in the air, heavy with unspoken feelings. "I long for that too," I whispered. "I wanted to be." We hung up, the silence heavy between us, unspoken words lingering in the air. She held back. Yet, I lingered on her words for hours afterward. Your kindness towards him was a quiet spark in the shadows. I longed to laugh. Kindness seemed too simple, too safe for what lingered between them. Not in the way I had dared to touch him, craved him, stolen away from him. Yet, maybe it truly was, because I had never dared to claim him as my own, only to find him in that secret spot where hearts were free, yet tethered by unspoken rules, and everything felt like a secret invitation to embrace life more deeply. 7 days slipped away, then another heartbeat, quickening in the shadows. He never reached out. I held back my words, not because my heart didn't ache to, yet what we shared was too fragile to be molded into something else. It was never supposed to be this far apart, or perhaps something more intimate. It had bloomed in that fleeting moment. Concise, yearning, whole yet yearning. A bittersweet ache lingers in the air. One evening, my husband discovered me outside, cradling a glass of wine, lost in the shadows of twilight. He stepped onto the porch, heart racing, as if the very air crackled with unspoken words and stolen glances. She leaned against the railing, heart racing, caught between desire and the weight of unspoken rules. He lingered, his gaze heavy with unspoken words. "You've become someone I barely recognize," he whispered, softly. I glanced upward. How can something so wrong feel so right? I'm lost in this whirlwind of feelings. Only, you've grown so silent, not heartbroken. Somewhere we shouldn't be. I stayed silent. I was lost in the moment, unsure of how to take that first step. I longed to share my heart, yet felt the weight of silence pressing down on me, that he was innocent in this tangled web of feelings, in the void. I had come undone, unaware of the peace I longed for until it returned, igniting a fire I thought had long been extinguished. He sat beside me, the air thick with unspoken words and stolen glances. Our fingers brushed, a spark igniting in the shadows. I can feel the distance between us growing, and it aches in ways I never expected. He whispered, "I believed you cherished the silence. I believed we were fine. We were lost in a moment that felt both right and wrong," I whispered, "and perhaps we always will be." He nodded, a flicker of longing in his eyes. I can't bear the thought of losing you. I glanced at him, my heart racing. He looked weary, but it wasn't from the weight of time or toil. In the depths of my heart, I searched for a piece of myself that had long faded from view. I'm still here, waiting for you, I whispered, and it was the truth, wrapped in shadows. Yet, he had yet to uncover all of me, because I no longer fit into a single world. I existed in fleeting seconds. Now, I choose what I wear with intention, honoring the version of me I'm still discovering, even when the world turned a blind eye. As I stepped into the room, I felt the weight of my own presence, a silent acknowledgement of something unspoken yet electric, not for how it seemed, but for the way it ignited my heart. In the way I touched him, a spark ignited, a fleeting moment that felt both thrilling and wrong. Not because I have to, yet it was a choice made from the heart, measured and tender, even when my thoughts wandered to places they shouldn't. That night, we shared a quiet moment, suspended between what was and what might be, softly, with a spark that ignited feelings I thought were long buried. His eyes glistened with emotion, though no words were spoken. Silent tears spilled over, tracing paths of unspoken longing. He held me close, as if he feared the moment might slip away, as if fearing I might slip away. It was as if he sensed the unspoken change between us, a delicate shift that lingered in the air, unnamed yet undeniable. I let him go. I surrendered to his embrace. I allowed him to weave his own tale, one that kept us both safe in the shadows of our unspoken desires. And afterward, I found myself alone in the bathroom, the air thick with unspoken feelings. The mirror reflects just the faint outlines of my being. I didn't despise who I was. I never cherished myself enough, either. Yet, I found clarity within my heart. That weekend, I found myself wandering near the park where fate had once brought us together, a bittersweet reminder of what could never be. The leaves whispered their goodbyes, drifting softly to the ground, fragile and yearning, like a secret waiting to be uncovered. I found myself at the bench where our laughter once lingered, and before I knew it, I was sitting down, lost in memories. There was no one there for me, but I could sense his presence lingering, electric and undeniable, not by my side. Not in a way that feels like a haunting romance, within the tender void created by his simple words. Careful driving. I felt something stir. I breathed softly, whispers lost in the breeze. Thank you so much. Not for the secret we share. Yet, you brought me back to life, even if only for a fleeting moment. Just this once. Let it be ours.